decided to change it up a little bit, and I came into hubby's little man cave, his office basically. So let's just see how this works. Hey Sunflowers and Squares, it's Brenda, and welcome back to BPDsquared. I got a cold, and so I may sound kind of crappy, but please bear with me. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today we're talking about closure. So I accidentally came across one of my good friend's Instagram posts recently. I, to say the least, was overwhelmed with emotion. Basically, my friend, for lack of a better word, abandoned me. Partially because of a misunderstanding that we had, but mainly because of my struggle with my diagnosis. To spare you guys from me possibly going on this long story, I will leave a link below that describes kind of the situation that happened. I have a couple posts about it on my blog, so I will make sure to leave a link to that in the description box. So again, to say the least, I was overwhelmed when I saw her, basically when I saw her face. And of course, my immediate reaction was go to her page, click follow. That's it. But then I had to realize, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's a little too much. So I kind of sat there and stared at the phone for a good minute, just trying to figure out what was the best approach. Just trying to figure out if I should say anything, if I should leave a message, if I should just like one of the posts, should I click follow. I really didn't know what to do. So naturally, I asked my husband, what should I do? Like, what should I do? And no surprise, he basically said nothing. Don't do anything. Leave it alone, basically. She left you. When we stopped talking, at the moment, I was hurt, and I did a kind of a desperate plea to try to figure out how I could fix it and what was it that I needed to do to make everything better. And her response was to find myself. And of course, at the time, I was pretty upset about it, and I'm just thinking, it's whatever. She doesn't want to be in my life. She doesn't want anything to do with me anymore. I can't force her to be my friend if she doesn't want to be my friend anymore. So, it is what it is. And I had actually convinced myself that I was okay and that I had moved on and that it didn't bother me anymore. Until I saw her face. When hubby made the statement, she left you, it, for some reason, was not something I could just accept. There's this overwhelming optimism in me when it comes to her that says that, I don't think she really just left me. I feel like there was, there's something there. There's some kind of hope there. Maybe she was just giving me time. Maybe, she was just trying to, distance herself for her own personal feelings and things like that. But I just couldn't believe the fact of just, that was just it. And this is where the difficult part of having BPD comes in, because my rational mind recognized the evidence for what it was. And I realized the fact I hadn't heard from her in a very long time. I hadn't, we hadn't talked on the phone. We haven't sent text messages. We haven't, saw each other on social media. Whatever the case was, there hasn't been any contact. So my rational mind realizes the evidence that's there, yet my emotional mind and the abandoned side still wants that, wants to be able to say there was something there that can be redeemed. There's something there and I still have a chance. Needless to say, I fell deep into my feelings after a while because I just couldn't figure out what was the best approach in this situation. Like, I felt so much at that time. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. And it's kind of like my heart was just jumping out, trying to do something, and it didn't know what it wanted to do. So I reached out to one of my friends on Instagram, and I just, asked, hey, let me vent to you real quick. So she, of course, let me have my moment, and I said what I had to say. And basically, I broke down the situation, let her know that this is somebody I hadn't talked to for a while, but definitely is somebody I consider my favorite person, because apparently this is who she is to me. And so, I just wondered, what should I do? Should I say anything? Should I reach out to her? Is that going to be a bad thing? What's going to be the best way for me to go about this? And y'all, she imparted some fire ass wisdom on me, like, for real. Basically, she said her old self would have told me to reach out, to figure out what was going on and try to come to a solution. But now that she's been going through recovery and she's more self-aware, she told me, don't say anything and just leave it be. What my husband said, yes. But she took it a little bit further and basically pointed out some things that I had to accept about myself. If I reached out to her and if I, chased after her, that's opening the door for two things: obsession and control. With the control part, me trying to figure out what's going to be the best situation, and me coming to her is basically allowing her to take control of the situation and to basically manipulate it the way that she would like to see it go. Now, that's not to say that she would take me coming to her as a means of to use me or to try to make me work harder than I need to in order to regain a friendship, but at the same time constantly trying to prove something that doesn't really need to be proven, and trying to do things in the way that you think they would want to see it done is allowing somebody to control you without even relinquishing control in the first place. And when it comes to the obsessive part, that's another part of BPD that I'm still learning to accept as well. Because of the fact that I don't have my answers, because of the fact I don't know where I'm going with stuff, things have to be kind of cut and dry for me. You have to give me just a yes or no. I cannot just kind of assume. Things can't be left up to assumption for me, because unfortunately the way my brain works, I always assume the worst. So getting that answer, after a while, I felt myself starting to get obsessive over it. And it turned from, should I say this? Should I say that? Questioning myself, questioning my husband, going to write about it on the blog, coming here to record this video, talking to other people about it. It was starting to turn into an obsessive behavior. And that was another thing she mentioned. Don't open that door to start yourself obsessing over trying to get something out of this. And of course, hubby overheard our conversation and added in after the fact that he agrees with everything that she said, and I agree with everything she said. He also added that the point of the matter is I have to remember that she chose to stop talking to me, and that is still a hard pill to swallow, but it is the truth. And so it's better that I just leave it the way it is, because if she wants a friendship, if she wants a relationship, she will come back to me. That is something that I will eventually have to learn how to accept and see it as truth. Again, unfortunately with BPD, things are black and white. Either it is or it isn't. And my fear is that, as much optimism as I have, and as much as I kind of put her on this pedestal or whatever of being this understanding, comforting person, it's still the fact that I may never have her friendship again. And as much as it really hurts to have to accept that, I know eventually it's going to help me heal a lot better to know that things are just sometimes out of your control. And unfortunately with BPD, that abandoned side of me wants so desperately to cling on to that little bit of hope that I have left when it comes to that situation in our relationship. But again, I have to allow my rational mind to take over and just remind me that, you did what you could, you made your efforts, and if people aren't willing to understand or at least learn how to understand, you can't make them do it. You can't make people be this personified image in your head. Who you see them as in your head, unfortunately, isn't always true. So, sunflowers, I understand wholeheartedly how difficult it is to let go of someone that you may have idolized, you may have put on a pedestal, just that one person you felt in your life would never abandon you, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what would have happened. I wholeheartedly sympathize with you, and it's emotional, sorry. I wholeheartedly empathize with you and want to let you know that you are allowed to be hurt, you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to be angry, however you want to respond to it, however you need to get it out of your system. You are allowed to grieve in your own way. But remember that you have to grieve to let go. You have to grieve to let go. You don't grieve to hold on. You grieve to let go. One of the other things my friend mentioned to me that I will now mention to you guys is this one relationship you may have lost is not the ending, is not the end all to be all. It hurts like hell because you found this person that you thought was everything you needed and now they're gone. But just like you found that person, you can find another 3 people that will be that exact same person for you. Surprisingly, with me doing this, opening up myself on YouTube, on Instagram, and all the things, opening up to my family, I found a much deeper connection with people through my struggles and through my ups and downs, and none of them have become my favorite person at this point. I consider these people just actually true friends. I have found connection, and I also found validation, but I've actually found true connections. And I'm not saying that your favorite person cannot be somebody that you find a true connection with. As a matter of fact, that's something I'm definitely looking forward to, is to find another few favorite people that I have that strong and deep connection with. However, of course, because of the hurt that I find with this, I'm a little more reserved about it. But I definitely can say that because of what I've gone through and witnessed with my ways of trying to be a good friend, I've learned deeper connections with people. I've learned true acceptance through everything. Through my struggles, through my mental issues, through my ups and downs, through the days that I really thought I wasn't going to be here anymore, to the days where I'm just so happy and so energetic that I want everybody in the world to feel my sunshine. And I found people through all of that who were willing to be supportive and be by my side no matter what. And I hope that they know that I'm there for them in the exact same way. I don't care what it is. I don't care how it is. I barely even care what time it is. I'm here for you guys. Healing is possible, and you're not alone in your process. If you need somebody to help you out, I'm one of these people. If you don't know anybody else, you can always come to me. So guys, just remember, a lost relationship does not mean you will never find other meaningful and wonderful relationships after the fact. You are allowed to grieve, you're allowed to be upset, but you also have to allow yourself to let go so that you can grow and find more meaning in life and find more meaning in your relationships as you learn to grow from your loss. Thank y'all so much, as always, for watching this video. Remember to follow me on Instagram, follow me on my Facebook page, and definitely make sure you follow the blog. Again, there's some things that I'm talking about. Again, I will link a description down below. I'll link in the description down below the post that I mentioned earlier in this video, so that you guys can go and read and kind of get a better idea of what it is that I'm talking about. And also leave me your comments and your experiences and let me know if this is something you've dealt with and how you got over it, or basically how you plan to get over it. And if anything I said, regardless if it was here or in those posts, helped you kind of figure out a better way to deal with it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching and for being so supportive. You guys just don't know. I appreciate y'all so much. But remember, stay square, sunflowers, and I love you. Mwah.